We haven't talked to you, Dana, since Ronda's fight with Amanda. So, and again, she, to my knowledge, has not done a lot of press. What is the status of that? Because
it's funny you asked me that today. I literally just talked to her this morning. On the way to the gym.
Interesting.
And she, she's good, man. Her spirits are good. She's doing her thing. In the conversation that I had with her, if I had to say right here, right now, and again, I don't like saying right here, because it's up to her and her thing. But I wouldn't say she fights again. I think she's probably done.
Oh, wow. That's
I think she's going to ride off into the sunset and start living her life outside of fighting.
And I got to be honest, too, because she's still very young and she still obviously can fight. Is this like a headspace thing where somebody feels they're invincible and then they get into a headspace where they're not, and it's hard to gain back whatever it was that made them that fighter mentally?
It's not even that I think it was an invincible thing. It's just she's so competitive that, her career, her record meant everything to her. And then once she lost, she started to say to herself, what the fuck am I doing? This is my whole life. This is it. I want to experience and start doing other things, I think, and that's what she started to do. And, she's got a lot of money. She's never going to need money again. Because, first of all, unless you spend money like crazy, unless you spend money like Floyd, you're not going to need money again. When you have the kind of money that Ronda has. So she's not a big spender. She's got a cute place down in Venice, California, and she's got some plans where I think she wants to move to to a more desolate place and do her thing. So I'm happy for her, man. She came in, she changed the world. She put female fighting on the map. She's been part of the biggest fights in the history of women's fightings. Of women fighting, and I hope those records can be broken. I don't know if they can, but I hope they can.
Yeah, and she really did. She put it on the map. I mean, she opened the door for so many of these fighters and so many of these amazing matchups that we're seeing are all because
and
little
girls that didn't think they could.
That's right.
But now know they can.
So she sounded okay when you talked to her and kind of at peace with
things.
She's
great. In a real good place. Yep, very good.
That's awesome.
Did you think the criticism of her coach was fair?
Yeah, nobody was criticizing him when she was winning.
Right.
When she was winning, nobody criticized him. But, after her last two losses, listen, that's between her and him. That people are like, oh, she should fire. Everybody's a fucking expert, man. Right. Everybody's an expert. When she was winning, nobody was expert and saying, hey, I think she should be looking at a different coach than this guy. But when she loses, that's what everybody says.
Well, thank you for that, because that's definitely breaking news. And what do you think of Shevchenko now possibly fighting Amanda Nunes? I guess that's got to be the next fight.
Yeah. No, she looked great, man. Let me tell you what, I'm pretty sure everybody on the planet thought that if that fight stayed standing, Shevchenko wins the fight. If it went to the ground, Pena wins by submission. Wow. I was shocked at that. She showed that night that she is a very well-rounded mixed martial artist and that she's ready for a title fight. That's actually going to be a damn good fight with those two.
Well, not to mention, I'm sorry, Jimmy. Okay. Not to mention, they fought before. Amanda taking the first 2 rounds, and Valentina coming back that 3rd round and winning it. And right. Amanda was getting pretty gassed. And there was a lot of talks, that people saying that, hey, if this was a 5-round fight, that could have been Valentina's fight.
And we got to talk about
interesting.
Now, of course, the guy, the big elephant in the room, the guy who we have got to talk about is Francis Ngannou. Let's talk about Francis.
He loves Francis.
I love him. I love him.
I do too.
Oh,
I'm a huge Francis fan, man. This guy is a fucking monster. He when you stand next to him, I don't know if we've ever had a heavyweight champion as big and as mean looking as this fucking guy is. And when he hits you, man, he's what I saw the other night in the fight with Arlovsky. Arlovsky was a little faster than him, moving around on the outside. But then once he caught up to him and hit him, man, all that guy's got to do is graze you.
And not to mention, in his fight before that, he finished that with that Kimura. And I'll tell you, man, he looked like he was going to rip that arm off. I mean, he's a strong dude. Yeah, I mean,
do you guys know his story?
No,
I do not.
He was homeless in France, and he walked into a gym and said, "I would like to learn how to box." And the guy started working with him and thought that he was a physical freak, right?
Yeah.
And basically said, what do you think about mixed martial arts? We think you should train in that. So they started doing some stuff on the ground, and that was the end of it, man. The guy became a mixed martial artist.
He was a homeless guy. Was he drinking at the time, or what? Do you know what the backstory to that was?
He had moved from Africa to France. He moved from Africa to France, and apparently he was homeless, and trying to make his way and find a job or whatever, when you get to a new town, and walked into a gym and wanted to learn how to box.
You imagine him asking for change at 3 o'clock in the morning, how fast you'd happily hand it over?
Jimmy's writing him checks. Just, hey, take this. How old is he, Chris, the producer?
He's 30 years old.
So he's still pretty young, man.
Yeah.
The thing with him, like you said, Arlovsky's a little bit faster. And again, against a guy like a Travis Brown or a Cain Velasquez, or there's guys in there who he's got to connect with you to knock you out, and there's guys in there that might be able to get in and out without getting touched. But
I think more of a Stipe Miocic. Miocic is a very well-rounded athlete. He's got good speed. You saw that in the Hunt fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How he was in and out. He's got a chin, and he hits hard too. So Stipe's dangerous for anybody.
So who's a possible next fight for Ngannou? I know you guys probably haven't looked that far yet, but who do you see? I mean, with Cain is out, it's still so who do you see him fighting?
He wants to fight Cain Velasquez next.
Oh,
well, when is Cain due back? Did he just have surgery?
Yeah, Cain will be back in April.
That's an interesting matchup.
Who is Cain supposed to fight?
He's supposed to fight Verdum.
Okay, so Verdum has no one right now?
Nope. Well, we offered Verdum fights, and he turned them down.
Do you want to say who you offered him to? Or no?
Yeah, I think we offered him the Junior Dos Santos fight. He turned that down. We offered him a couple fights. We offered him a fight in Brooklyn.
And he said no. What was his reasons for saying no? Was it that he didn't have time to prepare?
What's interesting about that is Dos Santos has a win over him. You know that.
Over
Verdum.
Knockout.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
I was
why.
there for that live. I don't know when that was, but I was there for that. I remember seeing that, and that's when Junior first broke onto the scene. I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Right? That might have been his first fight. It might have been his first fight.
That was the fight that everybody noticed him. And then after that, Verdum left the UFC and then came back, and Verdum was a completely different fighter when he came back in the UFC the second time.
That's true.
He was very one-dimensional in his fight with Junior Dos Santos. When he came back, he was a much different fighter.
Yes. And that was his first fight, Chris, the producer, in there?
That was Junior's first fight in the UFC.
Was,
Yeah, it was in
yes.
2008.
Wow. Where was that, by the way? I remember that.
Illinois, Rosemont, Illinois.
Oh, I was there for that. Wow.
Now, so what do you think about a guy like would Verdum fight Ngannou?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to fight Ngannou. That guy's not going anywhere. So, yeah, that guy's here for a while.
He probably doesn't need much time in between fights because he tends to get them over quickly. So, I mean, what does he got to do? Like, he's probably going to nap for a day and he's ready to fight again.
That's the thing. He gets them over quickly. There's no weight cutting. Heavyweights are different, are totally different. That's why I think if you look in the UFC, if you look at the history of the UFC, the heavyweights stick around the longest. It's a very thin division. They don't cut weight. They don't. Some have to cut weight. I mean, if some of them are so big, but it's not like these smaller guys do. It's a lot easier to be a heavyweight in the UFC than any other weight division, I think.
Well, wasn't he? I'm by memory here. Wasn't he like 265 and Arlovsky? I want to say was 242 or something like that. Wasn't there a giant difference between them?
Yeah, it's funny because if you look at the weight of Arlovsky has always been on the smaller side of the heavyweights, but he's a massive dude. The guy is so big, yet his weight is around 240, sometimes 235. But he's such a big guy. Because Arlovsky, when you stand next to Arlovsky, too, he's a monster.
He is, but he had a disadvantage reach-wise, too. I don't remember what Arlovsky's in, but I want to say that doesn't Francis have is an 83-inch reach or something like that? It's some incredibly long reach.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's such a big dude. I mean, his hands are massive. His hands are massive. He is a big dude, big, scary-looking guy. I love him, man. He's a fun heavyweight. He's going to bring some excitement to the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I do t't, and I've been talking about him for a while. I mean, for as long as he's been. I'm just so happy that everybody's noticing Francis. People are hitting me on Twitter, so I'm really happy. And what about Bisping? About talking about, he had to have. Did he have the surgery yet?
I think he did.
Okay.
Last week, I think.
He did have it last week. So how long is he out for? And is there any ETA on when he can fight again?
I think he had one of those. Excuse me. I think he had one of those surgeries like Ronda, where he had some stuff scoped, had some stuff taken out. It wasn't a major surgery, so he won't be out for that long.